We're starting out on Access Module 3, Maintaining and Querying a Database. You can watch this video and just take notes, or you can work along with me. So whatever works for you, that would be great. So the first thing that we need to make sure that we do is that we've actually downloaded the start file, which is Riverview _ Julia Melton ADB. Well, yours isn't my name, it's your name. Okay, but you go ahead and download your start file and open it in Access. All right, and if you want to, you can follow along in the textbook. It might be a little hard, but there are some parts that I do want to bring out to you. So you might have it running in the background so that you can actually access it if we pinpoint a specific area. Okay, so once you've downloaded your file, we're going to open that file. All right, enable content. Okay, if you notice we've got grading info table. Okay, do not delete that. You have to have that to get in order to get your report. So once you're finished with this file, you upload it to SAM. Okay, it will give you a report at the end of this file. So when you download your report, you'll be downloading this file, opening this file, going down to reports, and then opening your report. And that will show you anything that you've missed or you've gotten right and tell you what score that you've gotten. Okay? All right. So we're still working for the Riverview Veterinary Care Center. And the first thing that we are going to be working on is updating a database. Okay? Now, there's a couple of different things that we need to know about updating or maintaining a database. Okay, that's like adding, modifying, or deleting records. And we all know that it's important to be able to do this. Okay, especially like with our contacts list on our phone. If we get a new friend or a new colleague or a new client, okay, we're going to add that person to our phone. Okay, that's maintaining a database. Okay, because a contacts list is a database. So, we may need to delete a record, okay, if we have a client that we're not using anymore or working with, then we can delete that particular person from our database. So, sometimes we may need to modify records. Now, I just want you to watch this part. Let's say that we've got this animal table that we have here, and let's say that we find out that Bailey, all right, is actually born in June instead of May. Okay, so when we use our tab, okay, it highlights it and it puts it into what's called navigation mode. Okay, or like shift tab, 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 shift tab. Okay, all right, but sometimes we may need to edit that. If we just start typing the new birth date or we select the birth date from here, okay, it will automatically overwrite what is there, okay? But if we actually double click it or we press the F2 key, which is on most laptops is function F2, okay, that will put you in what's called edit mode, okay? And that's where you can insert or delete characters. So if I just want to arrow over here and I want to change this to a 6 instead of a 5, I could do that, okay? But he was actually born in May, so we're going to leave that as May, okay? So I can just back out of that and press escape. But anyway, you need to know that there's different ways that you can edit. So if I wanted to come in here and just put 06, when it's the whole thing's highlighted and you start typing, it just automatically types over that, okay? But if you press your F2 key, which on laptops again is function FN, and the F2 key at the very top, okay, then that will put you into editing mode where you can actually move, all right, individually from character to character, okay? Now, in figure 3-1, on navigation mode and editing mode with keyboard shortcuts, okay, so this is just to show you the different ways of moving around. If you're in navigation mode, okay, which means that you're just going from one field to another field, Okay, notice what the difference is between like your right key versus your left key, or your up and down key versus your tab key, etc., and your control home and your control end. Okay, the main difference between the two that I just showed you is that if you're in navigation mode, it moves from field to field. Okay, and if you're in editing mode, it works with the characters. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. Okay, so the next section is on hiding and unhiding. But the first thing that we want to do is we want to open the owner table. Okay, all right, so we're going to, we don't want to see the state and the zip, okay, in our listing right now. That doesn't mean we're getting rid of it. We're just going to hide it so we can't see it. This works really good for like, you know, if you've got to show somebody information, like if I had to show you your grades and things, and if I want to, you know, hide each person except for the person I'm showing it to, that would be a way to hide records. But this particular one is if we want to hide columns. So like if I want to hide state, click right on it, hide a field. Okay, same thing for zip. Okay, click right and hide a field. So it still has that information in there, but it's just temporarily hidden in the background. Okay. All right, so what we want to do is also modify an owner's record. So we're going to go down to 2412, and this is in numerical order according to the owner ID. So we're going to go down to Taylor Johnson's, and we've got to change his address. He must have got a new house. So if you notice, we're in edit mode right here, or I am. I'm not sure if you guys are. 458 Rose Lane. All right, and I'm going to delete out the rest of this. Okay, and then I can press my tab key, go over to Taylor J. All right, and he's changed this, and I can press F2 to put it into edit mode. Okay, Taylor, period, and that way I don't have to get rid of everything. All right, Johnson. Okay, Taylor.Johnson at example. And if you notice, it's not com, it is net. Okay. And we press enter. Next, we're going to press Control Home to go to the top of our table. All right, and while we're here, you can click right on any of your fields. Okay, and I want to click right, and I want to unhide my field. All right, and that'll bring up a listing of your different columns. If you notice, state and zip are unchecked. All right, so if we want them to show, we just check mark them and then click on close. Okay, and state and zip's back in the same location that they were before. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and close this, but we're not going to save this particular one, so we're going to say no. Okay, so the next section that we're going to look at is visit. So double click on visit, and we're going to correct some records in this table. All right, so we're going to look for 1024. Okay, and vaccinations is actually supposed to be wellness exam. So we're going to type in wellness exam. Okay, hit tab twice or enter twice. Then we've got to make another change. But let's say we had 5,000 to 10,000 entries here. Okay, it's kind of hard to find those entries by just paging down or trying to find it that way. So we can use the find option, which we've used in Excel and also with Word. All right, and I'm going to move it over here so you can still see the data. But we're looking for 1128. Notice that we can also look in current field. We can match to the whole field or any part of the field, the start of the field. Okay, or we can search up, down, or we can search all of them. Okay, we can also match case and search fields as formatted. Okay, so we're going to click on Find Next, and it finds 1128. Okay. And if we click to see if there's any other occurrences of 1128, it tells us it's finished searching, couldn't find anything else, that's it. Okay, so we click on the cancel button, okay, and close out of find and replace. All right, and we need to delete 1128. So to do this, we are actually going to select our row selector, okay, which is the little gray box to the left of our record. All right, and we're going to click right, or we can click right and delete the record, or we can go up to the records group and click on delete. Either way works. Okay, but the thing is it tells us it can't be deleted or changed because it is connected to something else. Okay, it has related records. So we're going to click on OK. So you notice it has a plus down here, and I'm going to scroll up just a little bit, and it's got a plus. And if you notice, it has 2 invoices that are connected to it. Well, we've got to delete those subsets. These are called subsets. All right, we've got to delete those 2 entries before we can delete the main part. Okay, so you're going to highlight both of those and then go up to records, press delete. And it says you're about to delete 2 records. And we're going to say yes because we want to get rid of those. Notice we have a 0 amount now. And if we go up here to 1128, right now we're expanded. Notice the difference between the plus and the minus. We want to close that. We just click on the minus and it collapses it back. All right, and then we can select our row indicator on 1128, delete our record by clicking right on it or going up to delete in records group and then say yes. Okay, 1128 is now gone. That's maintaining records. So now we're going to get into something a little bit different, which is called queries. Okay, now we're going to get into something a little bit different called queries in Access. So the first thing that we want to take a look at and we want to talk about is what is a query. A query is basically a question that you are asking of your database. Just like if we go out shopping online, all right, and we're looking for something specific, okay, we're going to ask that particular store when we do our search a specific item or items that we're looking for. That is a query. Or if we're looking up, say, specific music or movies, and we're wanting to find out what movies are out at the theater when the theater is running. So what can we do with queries? To these questions that we ask. We can display selected fields and records from a table. We can sort records. We can perform calculations. We can generate data for forms, reports, and other queries. We can update data in the tables in a database. And last but not least, we can find and display data from 2 or more tables, which is really awesome. Now, you need to understand the term record set. Okay, a record set is the result of a query. So if we ask a question with the veterinary database that we're working with, we want to know something specific. I want all of the dogs that were in the month of January. What it brings back is a record set or the result of that question or query. It's the set of records that answers your question. So we're going to close our visit table. All right, and we are going to go into create and query design. Now, when this comes up, this is showing the different tables that you have available, okay, to work with. Now, we're going to ignore grading info table, even though it is a table. All right, but we're focusing on animal, billing, owner, and visit. Now, we also have 2 other tabs back here. We have queries, which we have 1 query that we've made from one of our last projects, okay? Or we can show them both together. Now, we're just going to click on tables, okay? And the one that we're going to be working with is owner. So we can click on owner and then add, or just double click on owner, and it brings it up in our field list. All right, once you're finished, you click on close or click on the X. All right, and I'm going to close our navigation here so we have a little bit more room to work with. All right, and I'm going to expand our list so I can see all of our different fields in our list. Okay, and to do that, you just hover over the bottom border. Okay, get the two-way arrow, and then click and drag it to right below your last entry or your last field. So this top part is our field list where all of our fields are shown. And at the bottom, this is our design grid. This is where we actually create the query. This is the data that we pull from. This is where we create the query. All right, so to get started here, we don't have to use all of our fields, okay, that are listed there to create our query. We can pick and choose which ones that we want. All right, and this particular one that we're going to be creating, all right, we're looking for owner ID, last name, first name, city, and email. And there's several different ways that you can choose these, and we're going to choose one way first, and then I'll demonstrate a couple other ways for you. The easiest way to do this, well, it can be the easiest way, but you can just double click on owner ID. If you notice, it moves it down, okay, to our design grid, okay? Then we want last name, double click, first name, double click, all right? Then we want city, double click, and email, double click. Now, if you're like me, okay, if you notice that I missed one, okay, it wasn't intentional, it just me and my touchpad's being a little sensitive. I can go back and double click on city. All right, and that brings in my last field, but you're going, well, it's in the wrong spot. Well, yeah, it's in the wrong spot, but we can move it. That's not a problem. So what we want to do is move to the top of that field. Okay, you notice you get a downward pointing arrow. Click on it, let go of the click. All right, and then anywhere at the top of that where you get a white arrow, click on that. And then you can move it where you want it to go. And I want it between first name and email. So if I let go, that solid line, where that solid line is, that's where it's going to drop that column. Okay? So it's very easy to put those in. And if you accidentally get one in that you don't want, all you have to do is highlight it and then press delete. And that deletes that one out. And then you can go back in and put another one. We are going to run this query. Okay, once you get it built the way you want it to be, you click on run, and then that gives you your new list, okay, or the answers to your questions. So I wanted a list that has the owner ID, the last name, the first name, the city, and the email, so I can just see my clients' emails, okay, or I can just see the emails for my clients, okay, and so that works out well, but I need to save this if I want to keep it because it is temporary. All right, so I'm going to call this owner email. And just like all other files, make sure that you name it something that is similar to what it is. Okay, so it's easy for people to find it and understand it and to be able to work with it. So we press enter. Now, let me just show you a couple other ways that you don't have to do this. Okay, in fact, I encourage you not to unless you want to make sure that you put it back the way it was. But because I don't want you to mess up your SAM entry. So I want you to you can click on view and design view. Now, like before, okay, I'm going to delete these out. Tab, delete, delete. Okay, so I'm back to where I don't have anything in. So our first way, we learned that we could double click on these to put them in our design grid. Okay, well, that's one way. All right, so another way is to double click on the asterisk. And if you don't want it, this is a method, if you don't need to sort the query or specify conditions based on the fields, okay, like you're wanting to know, well, I want all the dogs that are Australian Shepherds or whatever, okay, or by putting in criteria, this method doesn't work for that, okay? But if you don't want all of that and you're just wanting a listing, okay, this works really well for that, okay? So that's one way. Another way is to double click the field list, the table. Okay, so click on owner. All right, and then on any one of these, you can click on it and bring it down to the grid, to the design grid, and it fills it all in automatically for you with every different field that is listed in that particular table. So this works out well for that. And then if you want to go in and you can just delete a couple of them, then that works out fine too. Okay. Now the last way is, let's say that I wanted a field in. You can also, instead of double clicking on the field list up here, okay, you can actually click on the right arrow and then select what you want. Okay, and so that's a fourth method. I need to get mine back the way you guys have yours. Delete, delete. Yeah, you're listening to me go delete tab, delete. All right, so I'm going to go up here, and I mean, I could have gone in there and just deleted out the few that I didn't want, but I want to go in through here, city, and hopefully my touchpad is working correctly, which it did, which is good. All right, so I'm going to click up here and run, and then I'm going to click on view. Oops, go back to, I was already at view, sorry. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is updating data using a query. Okay, so we're going to look for owner ID 2330, Jimmy Gonzalez. Okay, so we're looking for Jimmy Gonzalez. All right, and we found Jimmy, and Jimmy doesn't go by Jimmy. He wants to be put in as James for all his records. And then he also has changed his email. It is no longer gonzo@example.com. Okay, and I can press the function or the F2 key, and on laptops it's function F2. On many laptops, it's not every one of them. And we're going to change this to, his email is the whole thing with no spaces. Then once you get it in, you're going to press the tab key. Okay, so we're going to close, okay, the owner email, and you're like, well, do I need to save this? No. And then we're going to go into the owner table. And if you notice that even though we didn't save it, okay, it came up, it saved it in the table. Okay, so you're saving it as the database. So when you're saving the query, okay, a lot of times you're saving the format, okay, because it's using the data from the database, and the database is automatically saving as you go along. Okay, so it automatically saved both of our information changes that we made. Okay, all right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a multi-table query. Okay, so let's close the owner table. All right, and we're going to click on create, query design, and this time we're going to choose two different tables. We're going to choose animal, double click on animal, or click once and click add. All right, and then the other one is visit, so double click on visit. Okay, so close your show table. All right, and if you notice right here, we've got a one-to-many relationship, okay, between the two tables. All right, so this signifies that we have used or enforced referential integrity, okay, that so that we make sure that we haven't, double entered information, or that we have everything set up so that they work smoothly together. Okay, otherwise it would give us an error message and say, hey, this isn't working. Okay, all right, so we are going to go in the animal field list, okay, and then double click animal type. All right, and then from there we are going to select animal breed and animal name. And if you don't see your particular field, you might want to extend that list down. So double click on animal breed, okay, and then we want animal name. Okay, notice that it's not in the same order that we had it in, but that's fine. Okay, and then the second table, we're going to have visit date and reasons. Okay, so visit date and reason. Okay, now we're going to run that query. All right, so it gives us all of the information that we asked for. Okay, it gave us the animal type, the breed, the name, when they visited the clinic, and also why they were there, which is the reason or diagnostics. Okay, so we're going to save this and we're going to call it animal visits. And enter. Okay. And from there, we're going to sort some of our data. Okay, because we kind of got this everywhere. We've got dogs here, cats there, birds here. All right, we kind of want some kind of structure to it. Okay, so sorting, all right, is a way we can rearrange the records in a specific order. Okay, like putting all the dogs together, or all the cats together, or all the birds together, or finding all of Whisker's entries or Russell's entries. Okay, so different things like that, but we group them together so it makes a little bit more sense instead of it being so sporadic. Okay, all right. So one of the things that we need to understand is that we can sort, or we have different sorting results for different data types. So this is figure 3-10 in your textbook. All right, if you all need to look at this, but it is basically telling you how your different data types are going to show if you choose ascending versus descending. If we're doing alpha characters, okay, or short text, okay, ascending is A to Z, descending is Z to A. Okay, numbers lowest to highest, 1 to 5. Okay, descending 5 to 1. Okay, date and time, ascending is your oldest to your most recent date. Okay, descending is your most recent or your newest to your oldest date. Okay, currency and auto numbers the same as number, lowest to highest and highest to lowest. And then yes and no is a little bit different. Okay, ascending is yes, then no, and descending is no, then yes. Okay, so you need to know each of these when you set these up. Okay, when you're sorting by a different data type. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use an auto filter feature, which enables you to quickly sort and display your fields in specific ways or various ways. Okay, all right, so we are going to select animal breed. Okay, wait a minute, I'm sorry, not animal breed, animal type. Okay, so animal type, you're going to come up here and you're going to click not right, but click on the down arrow in the animal type field. Okay, and here's your sort A to Z or Z to A, and we're going to choose A to Z. Okay, so that gives us all the birds, then the bisons, and the cats, so everything's A to Z. Okay, A, B, C, D. All right, so you can sort on multiple fields in a design view, and what this means is, like, for example, we've got multiple bisons or multiple cats, and they're kind of, they're here and there, they're not in any specific kind of order, but all the cats are together. Okay, we would like to have it more alphabetized according to, say, the animal name or the date, put it in numerical order of the date of visit, different things like that. Okay, so what we do is when we set up a sort, we normally have a primary that is sorted by, and then you have other secondaries. Okay, in Access, you can select up to 10 different sort fields, which is really kind of cool. Okay, so what we're going to do, all right, is we're going to sort this. Okay, we are going to click on View, go to Design View. Our animal type, okay, notice down here where it says Sort. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything there, but if you click there, okay, out to the right, there's a down arrow. Okay, so we want that to be ascending. Okay, now the other thing is we're going to sort by visit date. Okay, when they came and visited the clinic, right? So we're going to choose descending. Okay, So that would be the newest visit to the oldest visit. Okay. Now, if we come up here and do a run, okay, we get our results from this. Okay. All right. So, like, for example, we have two different birds, Tweets and Lovey. Okay. It looks like Lovey came in the longest ago back in November of 2016, but Tweets has come back in twice. Once, the most recent one, he's not eating. Okay, so this helps you to kind of group information together a little bit better for you to be able to find out what's going on. Okay, so if you were like, well, who came in most recently? Okay, so you could actually, if you want to find out who's coming in most recently, but you don't care about the animal type, okay, then your primary is going to be your date of visit, and you find out who was in like within the last few months. Okay, all right. Versus, I want to know which type of animal came in and who was the most recent. Okay, so hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. Okay, all right. So we want to save this. Okay, so save. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is filter data. Okay, now filters are a little bit different than sorting. Okay, filter is basically a set of restrictions that you give your particular query or your data sheet. So basically, like for example, with this entry right here that we're looking at, with this table that we're looking at, or query, let's say that I just wanted to look and see all of the cats that came into our clinic. Okay, so I could filter it only by the cats. Okay, and then if I wanted to know, okay, well, which ones came in and they just got vaccinations, okay, then it would give me that information. So that's what we're going to try to do, except we're not going to do it with cats, we're going to do it with dogs. Okay, so I want you to scroll down to the dog section. You're going to click somewhere on any of the entries of dog. Okay, and then you go up to the sort and filter group on your ribbon. Click on selection, and we're looking for equals dog. So it gives us a listing, or filters it to just show us the dogs. Okay, well, the next thing we want to know, all right, is who got a vaccination or vaccinations. Okay, so vaccinations, just singular of vaccinations. So we just want to highlight the word vaccination without the S. Okay, so that way we make sure that we get all of them, including the S. Okay, remember how we did how we look for that? Okay, so we're going to do selection, begins with vaccination. Okay, and it found all the dogs that had vaccinations. Okay, so that's pretty awesome that we can actually search for that data. Okay, all right. So this finishes up the first part of Module 3, okay, and 3.1. And if you want to continue working on this, you can see the next video. If you want to take a break, you can save and then come back to it later. Either way, it works. And hopefully everything's going well. If you have any questions, then just let me know. Okay. Hope it's going well for you. And thank you for continually working on this. All right. We'll see you in a few.